Shinji, crank that, soldier boy.
Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of the most popular and influential anime series ever created. Across 26 episodes, first aired near the end of 1995, it follows teenage boy Shinji Ikari, who's recruited by a covert military organization to be the pilot of Evangelion Unit 1, a giant biomechanical humanoid robot designed by his estranged father, Gendo Ikari, to fight off invading space creatures called Angels. Evangelion is often credited with popularizing the mecha genre, while simultaneously subverting it, featuring slender, nimble super robots in stark contrast with the rigid, hulking beasts of Mobile Suit Gundam and Voltron. The series also helped solidify several anime character archetypes, the most notable of which being the harsh, standoffish tsundere and the stoic, expressionist kudere, exemplified by Asuka and Rei, respectively, Shinji's fellow Eva pilots. Heavily influenced by series creator Hideaki Anno's own struggles with mental health, Evangelion is brimming with complex psychological themes dealing extensively with topics such as depression, loneliness, and what it means to be a human, subjects which resonated strongly with a sizable young otaku audience. For them, Anno utilized his brainchild to teach an important lesson about life.
Go outside every once in a while, just touch some grass.
But after you do that, come back inside, because there's still plenty more Evangelion left for you to experience.
Yo, Shinji, get in the robot! Your dad loves you, get in the robot! The cockpit's too small for a grown-up. Kick some butt in your robot! Yo, Shinji, get in the robot!
Among its countless noteworthy aspects, Neon Genesis Evangelion is notorious for the extreme scheduling and budgetary constraints it faced during its production, leading Studio Gainax to reuse and limit their animation as much as they possibly could. Easily the most infamous effect of these limitations was their impact on the show's ending. The studio seemingly ran out of time and money after episode 24, resulting in a 2-episode conclusion that is, well, extremely philosophical and introspective, also nearly incomprehensible and not particularly conclusive. In 1997, the first Neon Genesis Evangelion movie was released, entitled The End of Evangelion, retconning the final 2 episodes of the anime, and providing fans with an undoubtedly more conclusive, albeit still confusing and introspective ending to the series. Like the original ending, End of Eva incorporates a variety of contrasting visual styles, although here their use seems to be a primarily stylistic choice, used to depict Shinji's mangled thoughts as the events of the film unfold, rather than something done out of necessity. Dismayed by the large otaku following that Evangelion amassed, despite his persistent criticisms of escapism, Hideaki Anno planned for this film to be the final installment of his acclaimed franchise, but as you might have guessed, that's not what happened. In 2007, Studio Khara released the first film of the Rebuild of Evangelion tetralogy, Evangelion 1.0 You Are Not Alone, headed by none other than Anno himself. At first, this new film series was intended to faithfully remake Neon Genesis Evangelion, this first installment recreating the show's first 6 episodes nearly shot for shot. As production went on, however, more deviations from the original storyline began to emerge. In 2009, Evangelion 2.0 You Cannot Advance was released, continuing to follow the general layout of the original series, starting with episode 7, while also featuring several differences, some minor and some extremely crucial. In one scene, a character acknowledges these differences, stating that this time wait, is this a time loop story? According to Anno, Eva is a story that repeats, helping to explain its variety of diverging endings. Each of them are equally canonical, they all simply took place in different timelines. In 2012, Evangelion 3.0 You Cannot Redo was released, deviating completely from the original narrative. Anno then proceeded to spend the next 8.5 years trying to figure out what number comes after 3, before finally releasing Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 thrice upon a time in 2021, including the Rebuild film series and, presumably, the Evangelion franchise along with it. By the time of its finale, this tetralogy had stopped being a remake of Neon Genesis, instead becoming an entirely separate entity, meant to be watched in conjunction with the original anime rather than as a replacement for it. Without delving too deep into Evangelion's manga adaptation, which ran from 1994 to 2013, faithfully adapting the anime with just enough variation to make it worth reading for both new and old fans alike, the Evangelion Anima light novel, serialized between 2008 and 2013, providing it another alternative ending, or whatever this is, all that's left to talk about are the Evangelion games. This should be pretty quick, there's just a... oh my... With these video games, it's clear that the priority was quantity over quality. Between 1996 and 2011, Gainax and a plethora of other companies released over 20 different official Evangelion video games, exclusively in Japan, all without the involvement of the series' creator. None of them ever managed to leave a positive legacy, if any legacy at all. Okay, let's see here. There's a couple of mini-RPGs, several visual novels, a rhythm game, a few pet simulators, fighting games, multiple educational typing games, a strip mahjong game, Wait, what?! Released in 1998 on the original PlayStation and Sega Saturn, Eva and Good Friends see Shinji join a mahjong tournament with his friends, because what else would he be doing with his time? A little over a year later, Gainax ported the game to Windows under the title Eva and Good Friends, The Stripping Instrumentality Project, adding one new key feature. That's right! Based on my research, it seems like this game, like most of the Evangelion games, is almost completely lost to time, leaving us with only the box art, a few screenshots, and a companion art book, which I looked at so you don't have to. Well, moving on from that. Alright guys, I am very excited about this. I managed to get one of the classic Evangelion games running on my computer here, in an emulator. It's called, Neon Genesis Evangelion, developed by Bandai and released for the Nintendo 64 in 1999. Players take control of the Eva units as they combat several of the angels from the original anime series. The common consensus on the internet seems to be that this is the best of all of the Evangelion games, as well as one of the only ones I'd be able to reasonably get through without knowing any Japanese, so I'm expecting good things. So, let's give it a try. Okay, well, yes, it may very well be the best Evangelion video game. It's still not great overall. The movement is slow and unresponsive, causing the characteristically agile Evangelions to feel extremely sluggish and hard to control, and the gameplay quickly becomes repetitive and boring, each successive battle playing out in much the same way as the one before. In one scene in the End of Evangelion movie, Anno makes masterful use of soundtrack dissonance, playing an upbeat track on top of one of the most dire moments of the film. Neon Genesis Evangelion 64 attempts to recreate part of this scene using a digitized version of the same song. However, this game's use of Super Mario 64's iconic whimsical sound font takes this dissonance a little bit too far, making it extremely difficult to take seriously. If I were to point out one positive aspect of this game, it would be the immersion it provides. Playing it, I truly feel just like Shinji does throughout the series. This game makes me feel depressed! Well, now that I need a way to cure all this newfound depression, and with no more anime to watch, manga to read, or console games worth playing, I know exactly what to do. Evangelion Pachinko! It's difficult to know for sure exactly how much money Evangelion-themed Pachinko machines have generated, as every source I found displayed wildly different data from one another. That said, there were two facts that every single one of them agreed on. Evangelion has one of, if not the most profitable lines of Pachinko machines of any media franchise, and the vast majority of Evangelion's profits have come from these Pachinko machines, meaning that, at the end of the day, Pachinko is what this series is really about. Forget about trying to comprehend the complicated timeline and different endings, just drop another Pachinko ball. Don't worry about the message of getting your life together, this is your life now. You eat Evangelion, you breathe Evangelion, you sleep Evangelion, you are Evangelion! Say bye-bye to your depression. You love Evangelion! Evangelion loves you too! As you're sure to have noticed by now, consistency is a major issue for the Neon Genesis Evangelion franchise. If someone ever tells you, "Oh yeah, I like Evangelion," an entirely reasonable response would be, "What do you mean?" Some people have only ever watched the original series, and others the rebuilds. Some might have only played the video games, and based on the numbers, quite a lot of people have only ever gambled on its Pachinko machines. Over the years, Evangelion has grown into a beast it was never meant to be. Yet, at its core, Neon Genesis Evangelion is the very epitome of a masterpiece. No, it's not perfect, but it is a deeply personal story told by a man who poured out all of his emotions and struggles onto the screen for the world to see. I just wish I understood what was happening half the time.